Well, the United States has over 3 million Indian Americans that can actually vote in the elections. If I am going to be the president of the United States and represent my people are Indian Americans, which means I need to go back and see where they come from and see what they are all about. That's why I am here. I have been doing a world tour. We have been in China. We have been in Paris, France. Now we are here in India, and I will say this, I love this city. The city is great. The friendliness of everyone is amazing, and very happy to be here.
Congratulations. And what are your plans, in fact, like, how are you planning yourself in India? Like, who are you meeting actually, and how are you going your campaign actually? Come around.
Well, like I said, I know that everybody here in India has friends and family that live in the United States, and so I'm hoping that they're going to spread that word back to all of their friends and family that live in my home country, so that come 2020, when the election rolls around, not only will I be the Democratic Party's nominee for president, but I'll end up winning the White House.
What would be working on thing actually? You will be having some plans, like there are some issues what you're going to deal, maybe on a country level or maybe on the total world level, national level.
Well, I will say this: we want to make our partnership under my administration. We want our partnership with India to be much stronger than it is today. India is the second largest nation in the world, but is the largest democracy. In fact, the United States and India are the two largest democracies in the entire world. So we need to forge a very strong partnership. I've been speaking with some friends just a few minutes ago, as a matter of fact, about how we can take our two countries and truly work on making our not only our countries but the entire planet energy independent as far as renewable energy, when it comes to solar, when it comes to wind, when it comes to harnessing the waves of the ocean, because we only have one planet, okay? And global warming is true. For those of you that wonder if it's true or not, I venture to say all you needed to do is look at the United States the past couple of weeks with Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Harvey, because literally millions of people lost their homes and completely devastated because of it. If you look at the storms today versus the storms 20 years ago, they're way more intense now because of global warming. So we want to reverse those effects, and the only way that we can do it is if we all come together and say enough is enough when it comes to having to rely so much on fossil fuels. So we've got the technology to do it. I believe that India and the United States could forge a great partnership in not only making sure that our two countries are renewable energy independent, but that the entire world is moving in that direction too. I will also say this, that on my first week in office as President of the United States, I will also be putting the United States back into the Paris Climate Agreement, because that, again, is the direction that we need to go to. We only have one planet, ladies and gentlemen, one planet. There is no planet B that we can move to. So we've got to make sure that we take care of this one so that our children and our grandchildren will have a place to live.
Sir, is this your first visit to India, and how much you are influenced or impressed by the Indian culture?
This is my very first time in India, and I am very much impressed. I very much appreciate this opportunity to be able to not only meet the people, but to learn about the culture. Yesterday I was able to meet with the Jain community, and they really touched my heart to see how the Guruji, how he lives his life day in and day out, and it's just truly an honor.
And so your views on America versus North Korea, because every day we see on the news channels something is happening, and it's on the verge of something going to explode. Your views?
My views are as follows. As the future president of the United States, my first goal is to make sure that the people of the United States remain safe at all times. And whenever a foreign country comes in and they threaten you with war or threaten you with a bomb, that is the first act of war. But I will say this, I take the same approach that the current Secretary of State Tillerson takes, which is diplomacy. War is an option, but it should be the absolute last option. I believe in peace. I would like to see world peace. But the only way that that will ever happen is if you've got a strong leader that is going to move in that direction. A lot of people make a lot of money when it comes to war, but we've got to make a lot of money in saving this planet at this point. But I do believe that diplomacy is the best answer for any sort of conflict, so that we can de-escalate the tensions that are there.
Captain Avinash, what have you to say, Robby is over here, and how would you be lending your support to him and whatever way you can?
Yeah, I mean, it's been first an honor to have him here, at Off the Grid, and as you could see, the name itself, Off the Grid, is working on the same concept what he's talking actually. It's on the same concept of renewable energies, saving the environment and the earth. I'm a strong believer of the democracy rather. So I would really agree what he's saying actually. So a big supporter of him.
So what is your view about the nightlife in Mumbai? You have been visiting all over the place. And
My view of Mumbai is... Oh, yeah.
This is a club actually.
Well, I tell you what, the nightlife seems to be great. I've met a lot of people here, and everybody has been so nice and gracious and kind, including the owners of this club that have let us come in this evening. Truly a beautiful people here in India and Mumbai, and an honor to be here.
Satish, what have you to say, Satish? You are with Robby, you are representing him in fact in India. What's your role and how are you planning actually?
Actually, I'm the international ambassador, not only for India, for all the other countries. So we are actually traveling all the other countries. Within 6 months, we should be traveling 20 countries. And then we would be going straight for the campaign plan, which would happen in the United States, where we would be directly dealing with the voters and everything. So there's a huge plan, huge campaign, and huge all this thing happening together.
Sir, since you are from America is being hit by cyclones and
Yes.
on and off one. And is it because of global warming?
I do believe that it is because of global warming. In fact, if you look at the storms just 20 years ago, let's take Hurricane Andrew, for instance, and I made this statement just a few weeks ago. Hurricane Andrew did a lot of damage to South Florida 20 years ago. But if you look at Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma, they were at least 10 times the size and 10 times the strength. We've got a problem, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to global warming. If you take 100 scientists and you ask them about global warming, 99 of them, possibly 100 of them, are going to tell you it's real. Now, if they're telling you it's real and I'm not a scientist, I'm going to listen to the scientist. It's about like if you go to a doctor. If you go to a doctor and he says, you've got problems, you need to quit smoking or you're going to die from a heart attack. You say, well, I don't appreciate that, so I'm going to go on and I'm going to find another doctor that'll tell me something different. And you go through 100 doctors and 99 of them tell you that you need to quit smoking. But you get to that last doctor and he says, oh, go ahead and smoke. Well, you go ahead and smoke and you die. You need to listen to the vast majority of the scientists that are out here, and they're all saying that global warming is real, and if we don't make some changes and make them now, there is not going to be an environment like we have just 20 years from now. We've got to save this planet. There is no planet B that we can go to.
Yeah, my last question, Bollywood and Hollywood, as we can say, like the Americans are also very fond of movies, Indian. How do you see, because Bollywood is also, it builds a bridge between two countries.
Right.
Any Bollywood actors you know, or if you've seen any film, or how are you going to establish yourself through Bollywood also? There are a lot of Bollywood channels also.
Satish! No, I will say this. I am a big fan of anyone that wants to get in front of the screen. And I'm looking forward to meeting the people from Bollywood. I'm just now being introduced to that. But of course, Hollywood over in Los Angeles, California, I've had the opportunity to meet some people there as well. So I'm really excited about this opportunity.
Name the few things which Indian culture has impressed you.
Yeah.
Well, the Jain community has really impressed me, especially Guruji. He lives a very simple life, but he lives a very dedicated life with what he's doing. That's been most memorable for me on this trip.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All the best.
Robby sir, hi, this is Rupesh. What is the truth?
The true meaning for democracy, and a lot of people, democracy is not easy. It's really not.
What is the true meaning? Like democracy means they say that it's a rule of people, right?
It is. The root is the people, and everybody has a voice. And the neat thing about a democracy is a lot of times we don't agree. But as long as we can agree to disagree.
So can we have something, a new platform where everyone is agreeing or disagreeing, and then we create a new rules for everybody, something like that?
Well, I think that
Because it's a digital age probably.
Well, what I think is this: the best ideas usually get to come to the top, to the forefront, and not only that, those that stick with it long enough, and that's in anything in life. You see, when I started my campaign on November the 21st, 2011, which was almost 6 years ago, it was just God in me when I started it. People thought I was crazy. People laughed. People actually got upset with me for doing it. Then they got silent and they started listening to me. And now those that were silent, those that were mad, have jumped on board with this campaign because they realize just how serious we are about it and how serious the people of the world are taking this. The people of the United States are taking this. So if you stick with it long enough, whatever your platform is, they're going to come to you if you're on track with it and if you're passionate about it, which I am.
Sir, one last question.
Sure.
America is a victim of gun culture as well.
Yes.
Recently we saw where the more than
Large
50 people were
Yeah.
killed. So if you come in power, will you take steps to curb it? The gun culture.
Yeah, we just 8 days ago had a massive shooting in Las Vegas, Nevada, where 58 innocent people lost their lives because of one coward. I will not even use his name. He was a coward. I will say this: when I become president of the United States, I want to uphold the Constitution and make sure that every decision I make is for the betterment of the people of the United States. That gets really tricky sometimes, especially with the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment gives every citizen, United States citizen, the right to bear arms. I will say this: I believe that every law-abiding, mentally competent American citizen has the right to bear arms. But there's got to be some checks and balances on that. The apparatus that this coward used to change those weapons into automatic type weapons should be illegal, and it should not take place. And as president, I'm going to make sure, and I'm going to push for legislation to make sure that doesn't happen again. I've also got a plan. You probably remember back in 2012, Sandy Hook Elementary School, where the young children, there was 21 children that lost their lives. I actually came up with a plan. And the reason I came up with this plan is because I was an educator myself for 20 years. The plan is called Vets for Kids, and we can take care of a couple of problems in the United States by following this plan. This plan will protect every child in every school across this country so that parents no longer have to worry about a psychopath coming in and using a gun in a classroom. We can protect those children by taking our unemployed veterans, put them through a screening process and a training process, and get the right ones, put them back to work in every school across this country as guardians for our children. But we're going to send us a clear message to these psychopaths that are out there, that schools and churches, social events are going to be off limits. They're going to be off limits to these psychopaths.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take footage. one move on. Anil ji, aa jaइए.
Thank you. Got it.